Welcome everybody. Quick look of a horror game called Silence the House by Graven Novels. Found them on Twitter. Very small studio. The game looked pretty interesting, so I thought I'd give it a shot. And I think you'll all like it too. Turn some settings down real quick. Let's see here. A little loud. Oh, the volume's already turned down. Completely forgot. Okay. Oh, large font. I want large, and medium's probably fine. Alright. Well, let's start, shall we? True miracle is to see your own sins. Anthony the Great. It's been a while since we left New Lake Road. How close are we? I've never been to this place before, so I'm not sure how long it should take us to reach our destination. Last time I was carried away to an old inoperative factory on the outskirts of town. Before that I was wandering around the plantation. Villa. Once there was even an asylum in the Heathlands. I think the factory was my favorite. Maybe I should visit it again. We traveled along the narrow gray path that was buried under the leaves. It was not the wind, but some other forces that brought them here. This scene was as fake as a smile on Grace's face. Unfortunately, I can't hit the enter button, so I gotta click the mouse every time. It's kind of annoying. I need to change that, I wonder. No. Not a big deal, I guess. You're gonna see my mouse pointer in the corner, though. Unfortunately, I can't get rid of it. The scene was as fake as a smile on Grace's face. The leaves were arranged in such a way so that they would not cross the edges of the narrow path, obediently sparkling in the beams of our flashlights. It reminded me of a twisted version of an old German fairy tale, Hansel and Gretel. And in this version, the naive children rushed right into the jaws of an unspeakable creature. Boyd put his foot on one of the leaves, which was found over the edge of the path, and the silence was broken by his hoarse voice. Man, it's been an hour since we entered this frickin' forest. Hang on, guys, we're almost there. I've heard that before, Grayson, and that is what, the third time? I don't think there's a need to go any further, guys. The forest itself gives me the creeps. We should just stay here for tonight. I agree with that. Hey, what do you say if we have sex in front of this pretty little stump? If this hook snag on it were a real nose, I bet he would stick it under your sexy topic right into your hands. If this hook snagged on it were a real nose, I bet he would stick it under your sexy topic right into your islands of pleasure. I like that. What makes you think that I will let you do anything with my body, you piece of shit? Can somebody please remind me why I'm still going out with such a pervert? If you've had enough of his shit, you should hang out with me, babe. Nope. Rejected. What about you, Grace? You think that you're some kind of Superman who's not afraid to accompany me to a spooky abandoned house. Do not fool yourself. Your so-called chivalrous act is just a trick to get me into bed. You need to try harder to get my juicy butt. So, you're saying I have a chance. Sweet. What made you so friendly today? It is my birthday, after all, and we are going to have a party. What do you have for brains, shit? It is a very special day. It is special indeed. Today, Grace holds the stage, but her acting is still not good enough for an Oscar. It is bad, but everyone seems to fall for her optimism. Oh, I almost forgot that you're with us. Come on, I have plans for you. Oh, so you are into girls. What a twist. Looks like you're dead in the water now, Lloyd. Cutie, Ashley. Pandahood. But it is not enough for a girl to win my heart yet again. The end of her phrase was said very quietly, but I heard it. I smiled wryly. Looks like all of us have a skeleton in our closet. What if the closet, the size of a house, This silly idea came to my mind when I saw this colossal house. I felt like something was coming. The house seemed to be flickering on the crossroads of reality and imagination, in the land of a future unseen. Its secrets were hidden in darkness, just like the forest. The weak yellow lights were jumping from one tree to another, running along the path and flickering in the night. I knew that we would soon approach the house. Maybe it's not too late to turn back and forget about all this shit. Maybe, just maybe, had enough of this. So I asked myself, do you wish to save them, Ashley? How the hell with that? No. They aren't worth the chance. I must stick to the plan. The forest, like a hungry beast with trees for teeth, devoured us in a cold, dead night. Their branches looked like crooked hands. Struggled to rip our faces off, or maybe we just couldn't realize their true intentions. Maybe the trees were torturing themselves, wickedly twisting their branches to set a warning for us that in the end of the path, which was flickering in the beams of our flashlights, the darkness was waiting. Lloyd looked really nervous, haunted by the rustles, and it made him mad. The hand that was clutching a flashlight was swinging like some kind of pendulum with a glowing demonic eye. As the flashlight was only uncovering things lurking in the darkness, that it couldn't immediately burn his phantom enemies alive, it scared him even more. I heard a strange sound and raised my head to see that it was just a crow. The beam of light ran through the black feathers and the crow merged with the night. I am the only one who actually knows what the darkness is hiding, but I'm still scared. My fears are not that simple. It is not what you feel when your reflection repeats. Okay? The illusions in the bathroom mirror can't scare the shit out of me. It is just not enough. What really scares me is that the plan could fail. Follow the untrodden path, you're always on thin ice. I feel like I'm lost in a boundless ocean, searching for a shark to ask if the human flesh is delicious. Do you really want to talk to a shark, Ashley? I wonder whether or not I'm still sane. The weak beam of light was sliding along the path full of faded leaves. Then suddenly something on the ground caught my eye. Shit, what the heck? The dead crow. The one I'd seen earlier, nobody really knows. His eyes were sparkling in the beam of light, staring at me, and that gave me the creeps. Dead bird. Much worse in horror movies. You haven't seen dead crows in horror movies? Oh, pretty often, yeah. Why do you ask? We've recently watched a movie, and in the beginning the dudes ran to dead crows in the forest. Just before the massacre began. I saw this bird of death only after my live stream was over. It reminded me of those days that I was imprisoned in a mental hospital. The walls of my ward were my only friends. You know, sometimes I really want to discuss the weather outside with them. Of course, staff didn't neglect their everyday duties, and the doctors regularly visited me to ask only one question: how you doing today? Actually, a tape recorder in a repeat mode asking how are you would be just the same. Just like the tape, the therapist wouldn't even change the words or say anything else. Perhaps he already knew how I was, or maybe he didn't care. Anyhow, every time he asked me, my answer was always the same. Silence. I only showed the same article torn from the newspaper my family burnt alive in a car accident. That crow reminded me of the very first ink blot in a Rorschach test. So the train of memories suddenly started chasing me along the rusty rails imaginarily built under my feet. I knew the exact spot where the rust corroded them. The train got off the track. People in it started screaming in panic and hitting their heads against the walls. Insanity. That's why I chose to focus on our way. I was afraid to lose the path because it was like a thin tightrope that was saving me from falling into the void where evil spirits were crying my name. You need to calm down. Pull yourself together, Ashley. You have to be ready when the game begins. I buried my head in the sand too deeply, but fortunately a rough male voice dug me out. Stop fooling around. I've already got goosebumps and we're not in the house yet. What are you afraid of, powerhouse? I'm pretty sure you're the fastest among us all, and even if we run into a serial killer in the freaking house, you'll be able to run away. Right, the killer would carve my enormous body as I put on a couple kilos this week. I won't even glance at the cake. Everyone laughed, but Martin started to comfort his girlfriend by telling her that she had a nice figure. I grinned. She really was a slim girl and just wanted to be the spotlight as always. But today, nothing will save her. I looked forward. Unexpectedly, I found myself ahead of everybody and didn't even remember how I left them behind. It was as usual summer rain and as sudden as snow in the beginning of July. I had to be first. I needed to be first. Mysterious forces were guiding me to that place. I was just a fish caught on the hook of curiosity pulling me to the fisherman. Every new location had its own atmosphere. When I was wandering along the halls of the inoperative factory, I felt like I was trapped in the black hole of sorrow. Wet windows of the abandoned hospital were crying with raindrops of various shapes, which constantly changed and drew enormous pictures, as if invented by inflamed imagination. Eventually, I saw it. I guess it was a fateful moment, so I wanted to have a proper look at it. At first, I saw contours behind the dense pine needles. It was like a shadow, but then some significant parts of the building started to make out. We were quite far away from it, but I noticed that just for a moment the lights on the first floor turned on, then one more time, just like a lighthouse. Is it the house, or my imagination? If I saw or heard something odd, I would think I was crazy. And it would be more casual than any other things going on in my life. I can't decide whether the house is a friend or an enemy. Of course, its purpose is clear to me, as it always was, regardless to location or building. But despite its purpose, maybe the house decides for itself. I can't explain why, but somehow it is alive. All the places were. They became alive for me because things just couldn't be so simple when someone like me is involved. Anyway, I stick to the plan. The house will play nice. Not? It may be as treacherous as the devil, hiding in the delicious candies inside the hungry jaws of doom. The house gazed at me with its lightless windows. They were dark, like the eyes of the blind, but I knew that it watched me very carefully. Out of the blue, a hoarse voice broke down the strange connection. Now I knew that I wasn't the only one who was looking at that house, which meant that it saw us all. Wow, this damn thing is huge! Not bad, Grace. How'd you find it? Oh, don't fool yourself. You might think it was hard to discover such a place, but the house stands right in the glade. I bet some naughty local children run around the house pretending to be ghost hunters or... Cut the crap, will you? What's wrong? Everybody knows ghost stories for children, am I right, guys? No one said a word. We continued approaching the house in dead silence. I was so deep in my thoughts that I jumped when I suddenly heard the metal clip hit the wooden planks. Then I found myself standing in front of an entry door. Freedom, finally! She dropped out her backpack and stretched herself out on the porch. Tired already? Maybe we should just go inside first. Looks like the door is locked. I don't think the ghosts are dying to meet him. Oh, go to hell, more. Meet the damn ghost yourself. You really are a pain in my ass. You are so sweet, guys. Handle the stupid door. Hold on, big boy. Now what? I'm working on it. While these idiots were searching for the way in, I was picking the lock with my own skeleton key. I'm not sure how many doors it's already conquered. Same as picking a tiger's teeth to see how its digestive works. Something moved. I couldn't say for sure, but it felt like the mouth of the door took a tight grip on the skeleton key with its metal tongue and devoured it. Seriously? I got mad and kicked the damn door. What the hell? The door was opening so slowly with a squeaky old like crap sound. However, it resembled the screams of the tortured souls. I just couldn't bear it. Nice job. I approached the door. But I didn't open it. It opened itself. What's going on here? It was very dusty inside this house. Looks like the ghosts aren't very hospitable. Everyone laughed except Lloyd. He even gave Kate a significant look. I think everyone knows you don't believe in such shit. Can you please just stop? What's wrong? Darkness is so scary, am I right, big boy? Come on, I'm just teasing. Fun! But it's not like that. So you tell me, what can hide behind the shadow curtains? If it's not a ghost or a phantom, then what is it? It isn't my fear, it's the freaking mental disorder. The name is nyctophobia. Make sure that your flashlight's not dead, or you'll be in trouble. Don't even count on mine. Everyone laughed again. Haha. There was no need in flashlights anymore. The glowing eye of the full moon illuminated the house pretty well. When we were outside, it was dark. Very strange. Those frickin' tricks again. Though it looks like it wasn't a big deal for anyone except me. Even though candles peeked out from literally every corner of the room. I think everyone thought it was Grace's joke or something. The place aroused my curiosity, and I wanted to explore it a bit. There were a few pictures hanging on the walls. To be exact, some of them had fallen off and were lying on the floor, like dead rats with twisted paper tails. I saw no mirrors in the room, thank God, but it was only the first floor. Still, I'm glad. Houses are like narrators of people's lives, made to tell the stories of their owners. And this one was choking on dust and death. This armchair looked really convincing. It was old and fractured, but still knew its appearance was a lie. And the carpet was old and shabby for every second of its existence. I was aware of those tricks, and I knew I had little time. I took the cell phone out of my pocket and looked at the display. I saw that the connection was lost, and it was already 8 p.m. The clock was ticking. Ella should turn up soon. I hope she would find the house. At least I drew her a map. While exploring the room with the fireplace, I found boxes full of candles. I smiled wryly. We would need them later. And of course, there was the book. It is the most important item. I just don't know how to do it without some extraordinary stuff. Of course, I was no amateur in that kind of cuisine. You could call me the chef of the kitchen, I guess, so I knew it from A to Z. I looked at the others. They were all wearing the same smiling faces, except Boyd. Poor creature. This poor idiotic creature. He wanted to blow Grace's skirt up, literally. Sadly for him, it's not going to happen, ever. The girls have already prepared their sleeping bags and spread some blankets on the floor. The scary house was slowly turning into some kind of warm, lovely nest. But I rushed to conclusions. Strings of fear caught us in its web when we saw the straw doll on the sofa. Her button eyes pierced us through as if staring at our souls. Somewhere behind the skin there was a hall full of screams which couldn't reach our mouths. The apple of her eye was black like rotten dead fruit. Flickering hellfire of a candle. Candles made them seem more satanic. Boyd nearly shit bricks when he saw the evil thing. The guy made a very strange screaming-like sound. He just couldn't miss the joke. She took her cell phone out of the pocket and her fingers started to dance on the phone key. Suddenly she began a made-up dialogue pretending there was someone on the other end of the line. Hello, is this the mother of one wicked straw doll who I tend to know? Good. Tell your child to stay out of the light because she's too scary for our little Lloyd. Your girl scared him to death, you know. What the hell, guys? Enough of this candy shit for one evening. Lloyd rushed to the sofa and grabbed the straw doll. Give me a hand, man. Light it up, Marty. Marty gave his lighter to Lloyd, and this idiot threw the doll into the fireplace where the hair set on fire, but the flame died immediately. The damn witch, why don't you just perish? You're a real idiot. It's a doll, not a paper shit. You need to light fire in the fireplace first. We can just use books or newspapers. One glanced at me in surprise. Well, I mean, there are always some books in a house. It's an ordinary thing. We could search for them. Almost got caught. Of course, I knew the books were here. I know everything about this place. There was a playroom on the second floor, a kitchen on the ground floor, and 2 bathrooms. I was connected to this house, and I could almost hear squeaking mice gnawing its beating heart behind the walls. But it was only a strange delusion living in my mind. These morons looked in every corner of the house, but found nothing, so it was my turn. Here they are. Geez, they are heavy. Boyd approached me and took the books. Congratulations, Miss Ashley. I'm appointing you the Master of the Doll Inquisition now. Thanks a lot. I faked a clumsy smile, then almost turned to disgust. Where are you going? It's time to punish the sinner. Maybe you can deal with this on your own? Oh, don't be a pussy. It's just a joke. You are the justice. Make the evildoer pay. He lent me a lighter. If it were not for the rules, I would beat him hard. Okay. I set fire to one of the pages and threw the book onto the pile of other books. They turned to ashes in seconds, but the doll was still in flames. I was watching her face turning black in the bright scarlet flame. tongues of fire applied with the stitches on the doll's face, and for a moment I saw her wicked smile. I heard agonized screams. In my hand there was something. Bone. On the other end of the line, tires rubbing against the ground, grinding of metal, bones cracking, front windows smashing to pieces. I feel shards of glass stuck in my neck. They pierce my chest and my heart. Maybe the explosion tore their limbs off. Maybe it was a meteor fallen from the sky, or they were burned alive by some psycho. Doesn't matter. They're dead. I can't stand it anymore. I've relived this nightmare over 1,000,000 times. I relived the day when it was all gone. Without knowing it, I touched a tooth that I was always carrying in my pocket. It was some kind of ritual, but not as useless as most of them. It was more than effective. For a moment, sorrow in my eyes changed to coldness. My fingers released the tooth and I looked at Lloyd. Satisfied? Yeah, but you're the sinner like everyone else. This is why you should be punished. I'll turn you on the minute I turn off the lights in the bedroom, sweetie. Lloyd didn't give me a chance to evade his lightning kiss. I've almost died of disgust as his tongue touched my cheek, like a maggot lurking in the corpse. His lips were as cold as a dead man's. I guess I'll pass. I'd rather confess my sin. He smiled wryly and wiped his icy touch from my skin with my sleeve. Actually, there's one thing you're right about. Everyone's sin. Lloyd shrugged his shoulders and began unpacking his things. It's present giving time. The girl opened her backpack and took out a book with a colorful ribbon on. Take it, beautiful. It's for you. Thanks, cutie. I always wanted to read the biography of Scott Malcolm, one of the greatest guitarists. Lloyd was next. I thought if you liked their last album, you must check out these. Grace took the CDs and hugged Lloyd, slapped his butt hard. East of the house in Skidwart Lane 65 tinkled like a ringing bell. That's all you get, big boy. Lloyd was a little embarrassed. I gave her earrings. They were pretty cheap. Bought them on sale. Thanks. Martin left the house. Through the window, I saw him smoking. He didn't even try to take his pack of smokes out of his pocket on the way here. Maybe if he smoked near Kate, she would order him to swallow the cigarettes one by one lit up. When Martin came back, he took a bracelet from his bag and whispered something. I bought it because it was beautiful and cheap, of course. But it has the Japanese hieroglyphics, which mean happiness and money. So maybe it'll work fine for you. Ooh, nice thingy. All of a sudden, Martin put the bracelet on Grace. It cuffed her wrist with a loud click. Now it was time to eat the cake, but Ella was still on her way, so everyone felt depressed. Someone suggested playing cards, and everyone agreed. In fact, I didn't know who it was because my mind was focused on other kinds of issues. I had more important things to do. I approached the book that was lying on the mantelpiece and took it. No one noticed the book except me. Out of human sight. Even I did not see it. I only felt it at first. When I opened the book, I looked at the strange symbols that didn't make any sense until I touched the tooth in my pocket. I understood. I understood everything. While consuming the symbols, I almost tore some of the pages off. Finally, thousands of letters and words formed the phrase, Iam mors affera. Well done, Ashley. This phrase was like a good old friend to me. I lost count of how many times this phrase came up in my mind, and still I couldn't remember its true self, full of inconceivable power. If I just spoke the mysterious words without the book, nothing at all would happen. Iam mors affera. I took my phone out of the pocket and looked at the display. It was 10 p.m. already. Time passed quickly and the game was about to begin. Would it be a fair one? This question has always tortured. I can't say if I'm doing the right thing or not. I always doubt. Part of me knows the answer, but I don't know which part it is. While I was reading the book, the others continued to play cards, but both Lloyd and Martin called me to join them a couple times, but I always refused. They didn't ask why. I think they were just playing their own game with me. I finished reading the book, so it's time to make my turn. I need to come up with something fast to hurry things up. I can't just leave this to Grace. Even the fact that I'm allegedly holding her brother hostage doesn't mean I can fully trust her. Suddenly, Lux smiled at me. I saw Lloyd cheating at cards. The trick was simple. He filled his hand with trumps. I just needed to prove it, so I waited for the right moment. I can see things. I see. I bet you have Ace and Jack. Stop being ridiculous. I don't believe you're a psychic or something. Rumors at school, they're all bullshit. I came right to him and looked him into the eyes. I was looking at him with a sadistic smile like he was a bug that I was going to squash. Show us your cards. Boyd looked pathetic. This pompous jock was trembling all over. Actually, it was pretty funny. Or it wasn't. Suddenly I realized that my decisions and actions started confusing me more and more. In the beginning, I was completely sure that I was absolutely right. Like using a manual that was telling me how to win lotteries with a 100% chance. Screw this shit. For me, it was as usual as eating breakfast in the morning. Of course, I want to return to that factory and repeat the whole thing one more time, but much as I wanted it a month ago. When I was almost manically laughing, looking at the woman who was trying not to fall, clutching the elevating cabin of the roller coaster. Just show them! Martin hit Lloyd's hands and the trumps fell on the floor. You asshole, give me my 20 bucks back. It wasn't me. She set the whole thing up. Are you kidding me? I was miles away from you. You couldn't know. You just looked at my cards. You knew that I had these trumps. I wasn't cheating. Prove that you're psychic. Like Lloyd was going mad. Obviously, I pretended that his words hurt me. Shit, it was so hard not to gloat. He was going straight into my trap, you fool. My feelings turned into some strange mix, and it was difficult for me to understand what I actually felt. Maybe I froze for a moment. That's when Lloyd yelled at me one more time. If I continue to lose the connection to reality like this, they'll definitely think that I'm crazy. Come on, Ashley, keep it together. I touched a tooth like it was giving me some strength and smiled wickedly. Prove it. It's not as easy as you think. Yeah, you're right. I could get a peek at your cards, but I didn't. What number from 1 to 1,000 am I thinking of? Jeez. Seems like this guy really believed in my abilities, which, by the way, leave much to be desired. Now, at least. That's not interesting at all. It must be something more difficult. What color is Kate's underwear? Everyone ignored this question. Summon the spirits. I heard a lot of psychics can talk to them. Yeah, that'll be cool. You're like Ella, but I agree, that'd be great. I guess it's not a very good idea. I'll prepare everything. It was really difficult not to laugh. They were so ridiculously naive. So funny to see them. There was something. The mystery of the whole thing inspired me in some way. Playing with fire always intrigued me. I knew something inexplicable, exciting, and terrifying at the same time was about to happen. Knowing this raised my spirits, even more so that it wasn't my fault. Oops, I skipped it, my bad. It would probably be better to do everything wrong, to end this madness once and for all, but not today. This fool inspired me. He made me sink into a slough full of rotten memories. I felt like I had fallen to the bottom of a huge can filled with maggots. They were crawling into my ears and I heard them twitching inside, heard their whisperings of death. Perhaps Lloyd will be the first. This moment of uncertainty has always turned my curiosity into a hungry beast, waiting for the meat in its bloody bowl given to it by the hand of fate. I dusted off the old handkerchief that was lying on the floor and began placing candles on it very carefully, like a caring mother who was taking her precious children from kindergarten. 13 little children, short, plump and thin, but all hungry. They were sleeping in my handmade cradle, as long as I carried it to the ritual room. I called this room by that name the moment we entered the house. It was kind of sad that I couldn't examine it properly because of the pile of memories and thoughts that followed me to the main door. It was pretty dusty. It's obvious that a house like this has seen its best days, and now it was old, abandoned, forgotten. Some corners of the hall, I could see the spider webs. Gross. I hate spiders. I really wanted my working place to be just a bit cleaner. Before I started my preparations, I knocked on the wall and a broom fell into my hands. Suddenly I felt very angry. What the heck? It would be a lot easier for her to do this. I threw the broom at the wall, but it vanished before it reached the obstacle. The floor became much cleaner. That's how it's done. I took out a piece of chalk. This is my main tool for tonight. Of course, I didn't like crawling on the floor, but it was usually done this way. I liked using the wall in the asylum much more than the traditional way. I tried some new things back there, but unfortunately everything ended badly. At least I stayed alive. In fact, I didn't use the chalk too much. There were no tangled symbols. It was just a huge circle in the center of the room, and of course the star. It just wouldn't work without it. I didn't think it had any real power. I mean, you can see it almost anywhere on a new album of a rock band, for example, but it looks like it's worth something. Candles were next, which is my favorite part. Last time, when the drawing was on the wall, it was fascinating to put matches into the cracks, but I think it really mattered. Eventually, everything was almost ruined. I'd rather use candles this time, but first, I had to draw circles in the center of each star between thick white lines, carefully, smoothly, and only one of them I scratched out, making a terrible sound like the chalk was some kind of claw. Finally, the picture was done. Put every candle on its exact spot, as if arranging chess pieces on the board. Pawns were first. They embodied every person in the house, and only one piece could become the queen. No, I already was the queen, but I had to fake my unimportance to not cause any suspicion. The fattest candle was meant for Kate, as she was obsessed with her figure. Mine was slim and beautiful, of course, but I had to break it into 2 pieces following the rules. Then they were put in the center of the star. Now it was time for the main players to join the game. Since I didn't know whether they were bishops, rooks, or knights, I couldn't think of the right position for them. So I just put the pieces in front of the ones that were already in the star. Every candle meant for the main player was placed carefully, so the candles embodying the people in the house were their reflections, though somewhat twisted, as I just couldn't find one as fat and ugly as the Kate's candle. Everything was done, but there was still 1 candle left. I knew it was significant, but I had no idea who it was meant for. When I was in the asylum, I put a significant chess piece near the wrong pawn and we got in big trouble. I looked at Lloyd's candle. I hope my intuition is correct. That asshole. Likely it's him. Suddenly candles lit up the room. What the hell's going on here? No, just my imagination. It was just headlights. Lloyd came into the room and whistled. Well, you're totally out of your mind. You think the drawing of that freaky pentagram that's always on the cover of horror movies will do the trick? Martin entered the room next. Kate followed him. Yeah, nice room. The scary skull is the only thing missing. Wow, that's so cool! I'm flattered. Door half open and Ella entered the house. Before she joined us, she was walking around the room where we had thrown about our backpacks. Will anybody help me bring me my things from the car? Ella peeked in the room, saw the huge chalk drawing, and got excited. Wow! Ella came closer to my creation with caution, as if she was scared that the floor would break under her hard steps even though she was as light as a feather. Is it what I think it is? We're going to speak with the dead. Are you in? Of course! I've always wanted to try this. That's just incredible. Looks like I'm just on time. Is everything ready? Yeah, actually, if everyone's ready, we can start right now. Maybe we should eat first. Hanging out with the dead is scary as shit, and moreover, I'm hungry. Oh, so you do believe in ghosts. I don't. I'm just suggesting that eating the tasty cake that Ella brought us. Well, he's probably right. I don't want to eat it watching his corpse rot on the floor. Doesn't make for great appetite. When Martin and Lloyd brought a large cake into the house, each of us took a piece. Of course, the biggest one went to Lloyd, and I got the smallest. He was consuming it like it was his last meal. I knew he was nervous. So nervous, it was hard not to grin. Grace tripped over someone's bag, and her piece of cake almost plopped to the floor. I guess if it happened, it would look like a human brain, juicy with blood. Martin managed to grab the cake with his plate. You look really pale. Is everything okay? Yeah, I just feel dizzy, that's all. Okay then. Martin smiled nice. But I guess his girlfriend didn't like it at all. What's that on your face? A grin? You asshole! You want to screw her that badly? No, sweetie, it's not what you're thinking. Yeah, this butt is mine, right, baby? Grace painted Lloyd's face with the cake and went to the ritual room. Makes it hard not to chuckle. Finally, everyone took their places. Grace sat closer to Martin, with Kate on the other side of him. Lloyd sat near me. Even knowing what fun was coming next, his gaze made me feel sick, as though his eyes were taking my clothes off. Gosh, he is a perv. I wonder, is there any limit to his blasphemy? Pierce a finger with something sharp and drip some blood on the candle. My words sounded ominous and terrifying. Are you kidding me? That's bullshit. Is it really necessary? I clenched my hand into a fist. It is! Okay, if nothing happens, you'll spit blood for a week. Kate chuckled. Okay. I pretended to be scared, but not even sure if he bought it. However, he smiled at me unconfidently. Suddenly I really wanted to shout, "You will die, fools! You! And you! All of you!" But I stopped myself, otherwise they'll understand that I'm involved in this, and it'll become 1,000 times harder to do my job. Muttering some curses, Lloyd, however, pierced his finger with the needle and touched the candle. Martin was next. He touched the candle too, as the scarlet blood drop went down. I was really nervous and excited. I feared that the girl could have a heart attack because of all this. Ella pierced her finger so hard that the blood spilled in different directions. When all the candles devoured the souls of the mortals, I continued commanding the army of the doomed. Sorry, I did. Martin, like my actual assistant, was giving his lighter to others one by one to light up the candle. Why aren't all the candles lit up? Just at her. Last thing I wanted is her comments. At such a critical moment. Close your eyes. Like I said, Lloyd's eyes were half opened, so the dead can't take them. Lloyd immediately closed both of his eyes. The only thing we heard was the whispering of the candle flame. Yam Moors Afera. When howled outside. Yam Moors Afera. Suddenly all the candles, lit up candles, went out and shivering flame was devoured by the darkness. The ones that were sleeping woke up and showed extended their fire tongues. The same happened to the candles in the center. Then a mysterious female voice whispered and disappeared. Wow, so cool. Was that the dead? And what else could it be? Nothing happened. It's just a trick with a voice. And you made the candles light up and then blew them out. I saw everything. I knew that he couldn't. You're a liar. Don't come any closer to me. Okay, let's calm down, guys. Lloyd, who wanted to rush at me, now stopped. Seems like he was a little afraid of Martin. Did this guy just step in between? Have I misjudged him? I heard the voice too, and I'm sure that it wasn't Ashley. It was the sound from a tape recorder. I heard something. There was some noise. You right, Ashley? I looked down at the floor and gave the cell phone to Martin. That's right. He pressed the play button. The recording of Farah, and then some noise, just like he had said. Her real voice. Nice performance. You almost managed to make me believe in that bullshit. The trick with the candles was cool, though. But I remember the harsh flash of the flames. You didn't light up the candles one by one. You lit them all at once. You kidding? But you figured it all out. Yeah. We'll talk about it later. Now I need a smoke. Came up to his bag, took the pack of smokes and went out. Through the window I saw him, staying near the car. He was blowing the cigarette smoke to die. We haven't finished yet. Lloyd went out of the room and I heard the chewing-like sound. The guy began greedily consuming what's left of the cake. I sneaked up behind him and quickly sat on the old chair to make a terrifyingly creak. Lloyd was choking on the cake and a piece of it dropped from his hands. He looked around, scared to death until he saw me. Fear immediately turned to wrath. I'm gonna frickin' kill you! I guess that for him, I was like a player from the opposite rugby team who wanted to take away the ball from my hands, so he jumped at the chair that I was sitting on. Fortunately, I quickly dodged the attack. The literally ancient chair somehow stood against his massive body and didn't break. Lloyd then fell onto the floor. Martin returned to the house with the cigarette still in his mouth. Looks like something urgent. He was searching for something with his eyes. He definitely didn't come back in because of the noise. However, he looked pretty calm, like always. Martin took out his cigarette with his fingers, threw it to the ground and stomped it out. He pointed to the ceiling. There, I saw something in the window, on the second floor. Yay, the ghosts! Cries of joy, Ella ran up the stairs. Lloyd noticeably turned pale. Interesting. Everyone rushed after the girl with the ponytails. The shadows slid along the massive wall, touching Ella's car in the yard. Its headlights were still on. The girl didn't even bother to turn them off. It seemed like this mysterious story excited her for so much that she forgot about such things. The car was staring in front of it and didn't care about what was going to happen with the walls of this house. I also noticed that the first floor windows were high enough to break the neck and a couple of ribs if you fell out. We went even higher up the stairs to the second floor. There was something on the wall, a message for us. The bloody letter said, "Let's play." Oh, maybe the ghost who you saw through the window did that, Martin. Are you kidding me? Ghosts don't have a physical form. They can't write on the walls with blood. That's some Hollywood bullshit. I think so too. Must be stupid kid. When? Me neither. We were here searching for something to light the fireplace. The message wasn't there. That means the pranksters are still here. Of course, I knew it was just a trick. Comparing what was going to happen after it. The bloody line, like a silent guide, led us to the room without any doors. The funny wallpaper told me that it was a child's room. We entered the nursery. I'm not sure I remember this room. Because you didn't come to this floor, but both Lloyd and I did. God, this shit gives me the creeps. Pointed at the unusual toy mouse with the slender long legs. The thing was sitting on the chair looking through the window with its shiny eye bead. The room looks like someone lives here. It's just sick. So cool. Thought so too, but that's bullshit. So intriguing. Oh, I have an idea. Wait a sec. Rushed down the stairs. There was a complete silence for a moment. We heard the approaching sound of stomping footsteps. Let's try this, shall we? Elle gave me an infamous Ouija board. They prepared for this quite well. Seems like I shouldn't have worried about the ritual after all. He made me do that under the gun anyway. But only once, right? Are you out of your mind? I don't believe in ghosts, but I'm interested. Has anyone ever actually used the Ouija board? Have you guys used it? I've never had. I don't really believe in it, but I guess now, or only for this precise moment, when we sat down in the center of the strange child's room, everyone believed in ghosts. Even Kate, though of course she would never admit it. If a phantom hand of a baby touched my skin now, I'd flinch. Obviously I'm afraid of ghosts. I know what they're capable of when they're not in the mood. In the room there were not many toys, but still. The room must be abandoned. Hey, you hear me? Abandoned, goddammit. There was a little bed with a teddy bear on it near the wall. A dollhouse was standing on the floor with a small zoo near it, and a faded pillow was left nearby. By the opposite wall, there was a little nightstand with a child's makeup and the mirror above. I hate mirrors. Maybe take a cozy sit on the chair at the table for a tea party, you'll be able to see the forest landscape. Again, I touched the planchette and started moving it across the board. Everyone grabbed it too, and it suddenly felt like we were going to touch someone's gravestone right now. What's your name? Our hands moved slowly. I heard a quite eerie creak. Mary? How did you die? Everyone gave him a judgmental look, but the planchette started moving. Daddy? Wow. Was it his fault? Like this. What am I thinking about? Guess I shouldn't have been surprised on that one. Shit, that's not funny, asshole. I almost shit bricks. Lloyd burst out laughing. You really think there was someone? That was me who wrote the message on the wall with the blood paint. I bought it in a joke shop, just like the lamp with the silhouette that you saw on the window. I think it's called the Magic Lantern. I thought it would be two separate tricks, but I got a really great combo. What a trickster, but how did you manage to fool us if you were here all the time? I set the lamp and went down after Martin. I knew he would want to smoke, so he would see the light in the window. Well, you planned it really well. Good, cool show. I'm sure you're sick of getting annoyed with these fearful ghost stories. Lloyd nodded. Ghosts do not exist, and if you meet one, tell him I said hello. He took the board from Ella's hands and threw it into the old chest with toys, which fell on its side. One by one, the blocks ominously and slowly rolled out from the darkness of They turned and span with their sharp and cold blinking corners until the letters formed a word. Hello. Fear appeared on everyone's faces. Boyd couldn't say a word. This fool was scared to death. What's happening? Why have you wasted such a good trick? You should have done this hello thingy first and then confess. The words hello wickedly flashed under the moonlight once more. That wasn't me. His eyes showed the genuine fear. Everyone believed him. Boyd, of course, is stupid. He's not a complete fool. He wouldn't try another trick after he cracked. This harmless greeting turned into something that made my blood run cold. Everyone was staring at these letters as if they were the eyes of a killer that has a gun to their heads. Now their veins weren't filled with blood, but with freezing ice. The sharp and cold knife of truth was about to cut their world into pieces, and they would step into the new reality of madness. No one wanted to believe it. There was no doubt about it. No one wanted to see it. They couldn't look away. The cold wind touched their skin, squeezing their organs and making the cry burst from their throats. The cubes started twitching. Suddenly they rose in the air and floated like someone hanged them by strings. A girl appeared before. She was no more than 6 years old. Her light dress was like a leaf in the wind. Fear ripped out the souls from our bodies. The girl was staring at us now. He was staring at Kate. She was on the edge. She couldn't even scream. Fear locked her scream inside her as a silent guard and didn't let it out. Her face was a mess. It seemed as though if she could shout, all her organs would be spitted out. The girl touched her lips with her finger and smiled. But then her dress began burning and she screamed. Her little hands were peeling its skin off her face. Small pieces of human leather was lighting up hello. The carpet was buried under the flesh and then the girl disappeared. Somehow we got back to our world. Even I was scared, but not because I'm afraid of ghosts. The thing reminded me about the car accident long ago, and it appeared to me that she was just mocking me. Everyone but Kate rushed down the stairs. She was standing with her eyes closed and repeating something as if it was a spell. No! How could it be you? You're dead! Dead! You... What are you talking about? Run! Martin grabbed her hand and together they ran down the stairs. We need to get out of here. Grace and the rest of us just started packing up in haste. They only took some things that were close. We must get to the car. Well, I warned you there could be consequences. Freaking consequences, you crazy bitch! You almost killed us all in that room. Be careful. The girl appeared behind Lloyd and she was wearing the same dress as before she was burned alive. Pretty sure this girl died during the fire. I mean, Kate couldn't kill her with the flamethrower, right? Kate came to her senses. Looks like she realized how terrifying the situation was. Wanted to run as far away as possible. She rushed to the door, clutching her fashionable purse. I thought she had everything under control, but what if Kate runs away? I can't let that happen. But trust her. Yes, trust her. Everything will be fine. I just need to trust her. If I start doubting her, then I won't be sure at anything at all. Finally, Kate got to the car. She began pulling the handle and her body shivered in fear, but the door wouldn't budge. Ella, throw me the keys! Ella threw her the keys and they flew in Kate's direction. The girl didn't catch them. They fell into the thick grass. The girl was fiercely searching the ground for salvation. Her face looked as though she was digging into someone's innards with blood gushing from them. Her eyes were full of fear. Kate couldn't find the keys, they just disappeared. The girl pulled the handle hard once more, hoping that her guardian angel would open the door. Maybe she was scared to run. But where could she hide from this living nightmare? A child's room with greetings from hell or to the darkest forest. No place safe. The dead girl in the dress was at the porch staring at Kate. Suddenly she raised her hand like a maestro of death, and Kate screamed. In a second there was a huge explosion and the car blazed in the night. Slaughtered as if it had tons of explosives in it. The mangled metal fell into the grass, the torn away doors hanging on the tree like a hanged man. The bloody rain started to paint the scenery red. A human heart landed within inches of my foot. It nearly made me throw up. Everybody started screaming. And not because their friend was torn apart like a piñata. They were looking at the car's leftovers from which innards like if a burning girl was crawling out. Yes, it was her. It was Kate. Skeleton, actually. He was decorated with burnt pieces of flesh like a New Year's tree with toys. He rushed to the guys and almost caught one of them. What is this thing? What have you done with Kate? Are you a fool? What? Get out of here! The footballer grabbed Martin's hand and pulled him straight to the house. Ella shut the door. Grace, what the heck was that? Sorry, what the heck was that? Everybody looked at me. Lloyd started shaking me so hard that I couldn't even say a word. And after Kate's innards, I got real sick. I almost threw up. What have you summoned? Shitty slut, I'll kill you. Let her go. We have more important problems to deal with. I was surprised that Martin was so calm. What on earth must have happened to make him worry? Probably. He was popular among the girls because of his nerves of steel, and he's pretty handsome, too. Suddenly, we heard a loud gnashing sound. Ella went to the door. Something was scratching it from the outside. Actually, everyone already knew what was there. The question was, how could it be? This is just sick. What happened to Kate was a mystery. Even I didn't have any explanation of this strange transformation. What can I say? I met the ghost of pyrokinesis for the first time ever. I was crushed by what I saw, and I was slightly deafened by the explosion itself. This sound seemed to come from another world. Through the ringing in my ears, I've heard this thing scraping my mind. So unbearable as it was cutting into my heart. I've always hated this part of the ritual. Deliverance. Now at any moment, something could go wrong. The thing is at the window. It is easy to break. We must hide on the upper floors. Ella panicked and ran away from the window. But we could still hide in the woods and get to the highway somehow. He won't give us a chance. We can leave this house only as corpses. Got a better plan? Yeah, we kill the asshole. We don't even know what this is. Why hasn't it broken the window yet? It can't. The deadly creature was smashing the glass with his head painted red, but it couldn't damage the window. The house is some kind of cage. You can go in or out only through the exit. Lloyd seemed to be more relaxed, but still frightened. Oh, looks like we're safe here. Don't be happy yet, big guy. The thing is outside waiting for us to kill it. No! There's a better way. We kill the psychic girl. He pointed at me with his trembling fingers, but I wasn't afraid of him. I was afraid of the dead. The hunt had begun. With that, I'm going to end the quick look here, and I hope you all check this out. Silence the House is on itch.io. Really cheap. I picked it up on sale for $1. Like $2 normally? It's really inexpensive, and it seems like a really cool little horror game. And I really hope you all pick it up and support the developer. You know, like $2, so you know it's practically nothing. It's practically free. Alright? Practically free. And with that, I will see you on the next quick look. And have a good day. Don't be too scared now. Go playing with Ouija boards. Understand me? Okay. Okay. Goodbye.